What's up, everybody? Well, I got another little unboxing video for you guys today, and today we have another controller to add to the controller family. And I have picked up an EasySMX X20. Now I got this for 50 bucks off of Amazon. I think it's normally like 69 bucks or something like that, but this could be one of those situations where, I mean, a lot of people do this. They'll say, oh my god, this is only blah blah blah, but it was blah blah blah, and then it turns out it was always the price it was like on sale for, you know? So we're gonna go ahead, unbox it, and we'll even compare it to a few other controllers I have lying around. At least the Xbox ones. There's no point in comparing it to anything other than Xbox controllers, seeing as though it is an Xbox controller. So let's waste us no more time and let's go get started. All right, let's start with this unboxing. I already did the taking off of the little plastic seal that was on it because I figured that was just gonna make a bunch of noise and be kind of annoying to do on camera. So, well, actually, we'll do what we always do. Let's quickly look over the box first. So we got the front here. Here we go. I forgot I have an autofocus on and off button. So now it can actually focus, I think. Oh, I see how this button works. So I can just hold that down real quick and then it'll focus. Sweet. Sorry about that. I did not know the camera even had an autofocus button, but then I was like, AF, I bet you that means autofocus on. So you hold the button and now you can see everything instead of me sitting there trying to use the little button on the front without accidentally shutting the thing off. But here's all the stuff it's got. So we got some two-way trigger locks, adjustable Hall sticks, which is always nice. You got the Mecha Tactical button, so the buttons click. I like that. Some people hate that. It's a love or hate thing, and then you can use it on whatever you want. I mean, that means that, to me, universal compatibility means you can play it on Mac, you can play it on Linux, you can play it on Windows, it doesn't matter. You play it on everything. Well, besides probably a PlayStation. You probably can't hook it up to a PlayStation user. Who knows, maybe you can. But other than that, it just kind of says its name on the back, on the EasySMX, Gamer's Choice. Probably says the same thing in Chinese. This is probably where a little thing would come out if it was hanging in a store, I would imagine. And now we can hit that autofocus button again and actually see all this stuff. So this is just it, bragging some more on the back and then the bottom. All right. And with that, now we can go ahead and get started with the actual unboxing. All right, now we can start with the actual unboxing. So that's nice. I always like the ones where you can just like slide it out and you don't have to worry about flaps or anything. But sometimes they get all stuck like that. So all right, presentation, not bad for a $50 controller. It's protected. It's obviously not going to be as nice presentation as some of the expensive stuff, but let's see if we can't just get that top part off. There we go. Get that out of the way. And there we are. We have a controller. So it's got a little dongle here. So that's always nice. Don't want to lose that. Let's get him out. What else do we got? Oh, we just got the instructions and everything under there and the cord. I think you can even get a dongle for this too, but I didn't bother because I'm just going to use it for some of the other computers, some of the cheaper computers. And then you got your little guide. So yeah, not a whole lot. That's okay. Now we can get this thing the heck out of here and we can have a closer look at the actual controller itself. So here's a closer look at the controller out of the box. These feel nice, and you can adjust them even if they don't feel nice to you. Right D-pad, not the worst, not the best. It'll function. And then we got ourselves some other buttons here. All right, these kind of feel a little cheap, but again, for what we're paid for this thing, I expected some things to feel not great. I mean, the whole thing itself kind of feels like a Mad Catz controller. Let's see. Oh, and then you got some back buttons. So here's the locking things I was talking about earlier. So you can lock these and have your clickies, or just have them be normal. And then you've got a bunch of buttons back here, and your off and on switch. Unfortunately, it's got these same things as a Steam controller. I don't really like when they put the holes for there. It's nice for repairability, but it gets annoying a lot of the time. Let's see. Will it be in a place I'm really going to notice? Not really. But we'll have to do a more long-term test on that one. But so there's that. We can take a closer look at the cord too. I mean, I'm not sure most people don't care that much, but it's not braided or anything special. And it's one of the ones that's got one of these. I always wondered what those are for, but I could always just ask Google real quick. Let's see. And then we've got our dongle, which I'm sure you just hit this button and it pairs or something like that. So very basic, feels very cheap, but hey, again, we didn't pay a lot of money for this thing, so in reality, it basically is cheap. So now, why don't we go ahead? I'm going to hook up a different mic so we can, listen to its buttons and all of that stuff, compare it to some other controllers, and then we'll hook it up to a computer and see it turned on, because I'm pretty sure this has like RGB and all that stuff. And it's wireless, or you can hook it up with the cord. I'm curious if it has decent battery life, or if it's going to be like some of my other controllers that I've had in the past. But hey, let's go find out. So now I wanted to hook up a different mic. I'm probably going to sound like garbage from back here, but the whole point of it is so we can hear its buttons and whatnot. So I'm just going to shut up and start pushing shit. Alright, yeah, these kind of feel like an old Razer controller I have. And like the Flydigi controllers I have, only this thing doesn't feel quite as nice. But what do you expect? It doesn't feel horrible by any means. Still feels exceptionally nice for 50 bucks. I'm not trying to dog on it or anything. And this thing's also got clickies. But alright, now let's see how it compares to some of the other controllers, which are extraordinarily more expensive than this thing. So if it even comes close to putting up a battle against any of them, and I think it actually feels better than the most expensive one, which we'll go over later. But let's go see what they can do. So I figured we'd start off with my least favorite controller. It, to me anyway, it never really felt quite right in the hands, and its battery life was atrocious. It was only slightly better than like a PlayStation controller, which is known for having horrible battery life in the controller world. So let's shut up, hear how it clicks and whatnot. Alright, now, not gonna lie, I actually think the other controller, the $50 ones, these buttons feel a little better on it. The D-pad on this feels way better. This is actually one of my favorite D-pads on all my controllers. Unfortunately though, the rest of it feels bad. It honestly feels just about as cheap, like in the feel, and this is a almost $200 controller, mind you. It has RGB and all that, has a screen that can tell you some stuff. It's got the locking stuff. It's got clicky buttons. You can lock these and make them clicky. It's got back triggers. Figured I'd shut up because we didn't actually show those off yet. You got a little thing for your dock to drop it in a dock. But I don't know, like I said, doesn't ever feel that great in the hand, and the battery life was so bad I didn't like using it. So mostly it was the feel in the hand though. The battery life, whatever. I don't usually play for more than like 12 hours anyway. It's very rare that I do that. It's usually like a 5 or 6 hour affair when I'm done making all my videos. But anyway, let's go on to the next controller. So now we've got our SCUF controller here, which is the, I liked the controller and everything, but to be perfectly honest, other than back when I bought this one, they might be completely different now and have all sorts of badass triggers and all that stuff and thumbsticks. Back when I got this, it was essentially just a super customizable Xbox controller. Like, I think everything internally is basically just an Xbox controller, but with supreme customization. But yeah, this is also the most expensive out of all the controllers. I believe this one was like out the door with shipping and everything $328. So yeah, just looks cool. Don't get me wrong, I love the way it looks. I think I did a cool job designing it. And they also had these cool back buttons, which was another thing they were going for. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. We'll start pushing buttons. Alrighty, and that's about that for that one. Very nice controller. I mean, if you like the normal Xbox controller and you just want something super customizable with some back buttons that you can use up and... It's the weird way they use. You're supposed to, like, push upwards with the same finger so you don't have to like lift off. It's supposed to just give you a couple seconds of, what do you call it, ahead of your opponents and whatnot who have to move over. So if you're already good, you get even more of an advantage, I guess. But still, it's basically just a normal controller other than that feature. And I think this feels a little different too. I don't remember the normal controllers being quite that clicky. But I don't think anything else, like these are not Hall-Effect or anything. These are not Hall-Effect or any of this. No gyro, no nothing. Just an Xbox controller that's very customizable back when I bought it. But there might be like 3 or 4 iterations that came out since that now have all of that stuff. So now let's move on to the next controller. So now here's my Flydigi, I believe, 4 Black Myth Wukong edition, which is like my second favorite controller. It's my favorite for looks. Now the only problem is if you use them quite a bit, you will get shipping on these. They're just painted. It's not like it's an actual slab of like copper like I thought it was. It's just painted. So just keep that in mind if you do grab one of these. Other than that though, it's awesome. And I know what my keys are. So even after all that wears off, it's probably just the white keys from the white version of the controller under there. So I think you'll still have Y and B and all that shit. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and we're going to start hitting buttons. This one doesn't have any locking mechanisms. You have to do that in software. And that's pretty much that. Very nice controller. This is not a button, it's just painted on. But second favorite D-pad, love this thing. I love the adjustable joysticks here, and these are all like Hall-Effect, like everything on here. Hall-Effect, Hall-Effect, Hall-Effect. But again, this is like a $170 controller, so way more expensive than the other one. But then I go back to that SCUF controller, which is more expensive than like all of these, and has none of it. So that $50 controller has half of this stuff. So that's why I think it's a badass controller for the money if you can get past the cheaper feeling. This obviously feels fantastic, but it still has issues like that stuff chipping off. So even it is not flawless. Still, probably my second favorite controller right now. Sure does look badass though. Anyway, let's move on to the last controller. Now for my favorite controller. This is the Flydigi Apex 5, and it is an absolute beauty. Pretty much everything that I love about my other controller, just they made everything better. The only thing I will say is I think the other one looks a little cooler than this one, but this one still looks cool. Like you can see the little rumble motors and stuff. Heck, why don't we just turn it on so you can see all the RGB too? I think the other ones were all dead, so I didn't bother turning them up, but this one I use all the time, so it's got lots of life left. You even get a little screen in it, or you get 2 screens. You get one that kind of just says something. You can put a couple different things in there. Then you've got your other screen that you can customize there. This actually is a button this time around. You got your start and menu buttons and all that stuff. And then you got a really nice D-pad here. I like this one too. That's my third favorite one. I still think I like the Flydigi's metal one a little more, but this one's still nice. And then you got adjustable sticks and all that stuff too. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and we're going to start a clicking. And then this one could have paddles, but I don't have them attached because I don't really do anything with them and they would have just gotten in my way. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And this one also does not have any way of locking the triggers. You have to do that in software. But that's okay. I don't really do them for first-person shooters anyway, so that's one of the main reasons you do that. Though it would give you an advantage in fighting games and stuff too, where like Batman I used it, where I could just barely click that and just punch the shit out of people, for example. But anyway, I'd say it's about time to get that new controller I got hooked up and see what it's like all powered up. So here it is all powered on. It's got some little rings around it, kind of like Asus allies and whatnot. That's neat. The thing I like and I didn't know about is look at that. Even these glow. And it's like a weird effect where they're like all sunken in there. I like that. That's neat. And it's got some little tiny strips right there. And I'm sure you can shut that stuff off. If you can't, that's a little annoying. One thing that's neat is that it even shows you battery level on the bottom. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Maybe that's like Bluetooth. But I feel like that's the battery level. And then when it gets to there, it'll be charged. But obviously, I will let you guys know if that is not the case. And I think that's it. No, there's no more RGB besides that. So alright, I think we're about ready to wrap up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for this video. Very nice controller for 50 bucks. Hopefully, it actually turns out performing well too. I still have to go use it before I can sit and say, hell yeah, it's an awesome controller, but it has all of the recipes for being one. So obviously I'll come back and make a little update video after I've actually used it for quite a while. And I don't mean for like a week or whatever. I use my stuff for a long time before I make a review. Otherwise, I don't think you really can make an informed review if you just use it for like 10 seconds and then try and write a huge review about how good and bad it is. I'd try to do at least 3 months to 5, 6 months before I try to do that. Although sometimes I forget. Either way, that's all for the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And I still can't do peace out right with that hand. But it's getting better. Today I feel like it improved a lot. The lady really worked on that hand today. Kind of was painful, but hey, no agony, no braggony. But anyway, we'll do a left-handed peace out, and until the next video.